Welcome back to another chaotic van build video. Not one day goes by that I don't make some sort of mess, and this day I made a huge mess, but I accomplished getting the entire ceiling in the van painted like a sky, and I am thrilled to have that project done and over with. Okay, so it's been 2 weeks since I gave you guys a video, and I'm sorry for that. But I needed a break. As y'all know, my adult son came home to live with me, and even though he's not a child, he can take care of himself. So I'm not really having to do anything different. It's just that I'm used to being by myself all the time, so having another person in my space, I don't know, it just kind of it threw my schedule off, and we all had to get adjusted to the new living situations. So, yeah, okay. And with that being said, I did a lot of work, but I didn't do a lot of filming, okay? So as I looked back through my footage, a lot of things I got little clips of, but then maybe I didn't show the final result. So I'll just show you the footage that I have, and then at the end of the video, or throughout somewhere, I'll pop in and we'll do a complete walkthrough of the van, and I'll show you up close details of what I accomplished. So, yeah, I hope you enjoy. I've been killing my neck and back trying to paint the ceiling upside down. So I got a little MacGyverish, I guess, and I brought a coffee table in here and put some cushions on top of the coffee table. And this allowed me to lay pretty flat on my back and look straight up rather than trying to support my fat head with my neck. And that right there is how I did the way back. I just laid on that back shelf and it worked like a tiny bed bunk. Perfect. Here's a quick peek of all the blue skies minus the clouds. I will get to the clouds later, but the hardest part is complete. Here's where I had some creator differences going on in my head. I really like the look of these plastic vines here. They're pretty, but the vines, along with the clay branches, it extends down about 7 inches from my ceiling, and every inch is critical in van life. The branches kept getting tangled up in my hair, and it just wasn't very practical. So I'm showing you that's what I hung the vines up with. I had to get a little creative and use something completely different, and I'll just use these vines and other decorative aspects around the van. So let me explain my thoughts here. Okay, so I'm sorry if I'm sweating, but it's really hot out here. I have to turn my fan off so that way you don't hear the roaring of the fan in the background, so it's hot. But the first change that I did, well, the only change, no, I made 2 changes in this video. My original plan is forever changing because, like I've always said, I make this up as I go, so things change, and that's just life. I had the greenery, okay? I bought the plastic greenery, but right now I'm sitting on the floor, but when I sit on the chair or if I sit on the bed, the greenery was getting tangled in my hair and it was pulling my hair. And maybe I like my hair being pulled, but not like that. Anyways, so I thought about going with some yarn. All right. So I went to the craft store and I was looking at the yarn, and I originally was looking at different shades of green. I was going to get like dark green, medium green, light green, and just mix them up. But then I saw this multicolored yarn, and I really like color. And these really are earthy colors, okay? You got your sunshine, you got your water and your skies and your greens for your greenery and your browns, and I don't know, I just fell in love with this yarn. So yeah, we're doing multicolored trees. This is a mythical enchanted forest, so why not have mythical colored trees? And it's so much softer. Now, I might go and trim this up a little bit just to make it more uniform, but I kind of like the sporadic chaos of it not being even and, you know, some strands longer than the other. I kind of like that, okay? It's different and it's more natural. It's a more organic feel. So, yeah, I hope y'all like it because I like it. But really, you know, that's all that matters, okay? I want y'all to like what I do, but in the end, it comes down to what makes me happy. So yeah, this makes me happy, and that's what I'm doing. I am using some green velvety thread, and it has little gold sparkles in it. I'm using that for the sides, okay? So all of the sides will have this green, and then your colors in the middle. And the reason I said I might trim it, because this hangs down so much longer than these. I want this to stick out farther, but maybe not this far. That's a drastic difference. But I don't know. I'm not going to do anything right away. I'm just going to live with this for a while. And it being long helps me hide my lights because I do have lights through here. I have a little bit of footage I'll pop up maybe here of just this one branch lit up at night. This entire branch isn't even finished. I still have this. But with just what little bit I have done, it looks so magical at night. Now, in case you're curious, here are the yarn brands and styles that I'm using, and I got them at the Hobby Lobby. So if you wanted the same type of yarn, there you have it. And I have to make a bunch of tassels, and I'm just showing you here how I'm doing it. Now, that's just a Dollar Tree canvas frame. I took the canvas off of it and it turned into my tassel maker. It's the smallest one they sell. For the green tassels, I'm using the shorter, thinner side, whatever, how you see it here. But for the colored yarn tassels, I'm turning it up long ways. So I guess this is landscape style, and I do it portrait style when I do the colored ones. That way, those tassels are just longer, okay? And it's pretty self explanatory. I'm wrapping the green ones around 20 times and then tying it off, cutting the ends. And for the colored ones, I'm only wrapping it 10 times because the colored ones are a thicker yarn and it's actually like it looks like it's twisted up 2 or 3 pieces of yarn, so it makes it kind of thicker, and so it doesn't need quite as much. Now, I'm probably using 1 to 200 tassels per branch. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 branches. So this is a lot of tassels. So even with just this one branch done, it is magical in here at night. It is, I can't even describe it, all right? So imagine when I get all of the branches done and I turn the lights on at night, it's going to be like a fairy house would be. You know what I mean? Even over here, this part, I'm not sure yet if I'm going to use some of the plastic vines. I have a lot. All of this is plastic vines that I can use in here. Or maybe I'll make some more tassels and put colorful tassels. I'm not sure yet. I'll make that decision when I get to it. So that'll have some floofy stuff and it'll have lights. So when I curl up in there at night to watch TV or to do whatever I want, it's just going to feel, it's going to feel like a majestic, enchanted fairy forest. I do. I believe that. It's going to be so great. Now, I've started adding some stuff to my tree here. I've put some forest moss just for some texture and more color. And as you can see, I finished my little lady here. What I did is I painted her the same as I painted this stuff. And then I just, well, I don't know where the bottle is, but then I just added some full spectrum glitter paint all over her face. And she has some lights in here, and I think I might put some lights down in her hair. I'm calling this her hair. And so when the little fairy lights come on, all of those little glitter specks will sparkle. I'm all about the subtle sparkle here. I think that adding clay over this was a fabulous decision because that just looks more realistically like a tree trunk, okay? It really does. So the spray foam was a good base, but adding clay over it, the foam clay, it just made it 10 times better. And I'm going to show you side by side in case you forgot what it looked like. So this is just spray foam. Do you see? It just looks chunky, and yeah, I mean, it would have worked, but it was not the feel that I was going for. It just didn't, it wasn't good enough, okay? I didn't like it, so I fixed it. Definitely a good decision there. And I need to buy more clay, and I need to buy more yarn, but at Hobby Lobby, there's something different on sale every week, and just so happens the yarn and the foam clay are on sale during the same week. So on Monday, I'll go and I'll buy more yarn and I'll buy more foam clay, and we'll get this tree finished, and we'll hopefully get the branches finished. I have to wait for it to go on sale because it's just way too expensive otherwise. Not the clay, the foam clay is not very expensive. I mean, at full price, it's $2.99 for a container of clay. But when it goes on sale, it's 40% off. So 40% off of $2.99. So that's a big deal. That's almost half off. Same with the yarn. Now, I don't have any out here with me, but the yarn is going to be much more expensive than using the plastic vines, because this right here, this one strip is 2 rolls of multicolored yarn, and 1 roll, I don't have any over here, 1 roll of the velvety green. So at full price, each roll is $5.99 of the colored and $4.99 of the green. So that's a lot of money. But if I wait until it's 40% off, that's cutting it almost in half. So definitely a much more expensive way to, I'm sweating, I'm sorry. Definitely a much more expensive way to do the ceiling, but this is going to be my special place, and so I want it to be exactly how I like it, and I don't care how much it costs. So Monday, we'll go buy some yarn, we'll go buy some clay, and we'll get this finished. Now, I've painted the sides here. I still need to paint the top, but haven't made it that far yet, and I have sprayed some sealer over it, and that just helps protect the paint so it doesn't rub or peel off if it gets moist in here. This side, I did not seal it yet. You can see that one's more muted, that one's more shiny, and I didn't because I dropped spray foam down it. When I finished the sealing, I had to spray foam in the gaps in the side, and it makes a mess. I mean, it's all over my table. Yeah. But anyhow, you see some spray foam rolled. A big clump of it just rolled all the way down and dried right there. It's best to wait for it to dry before you try to take it off, because then it'll come off in one clump. And it did take my paint and some of my clay off, but that's not a big deal. I can fix that. Because if you wipe it up when it's wet, it's going to be a thin smear like this, and you can't really get that off, okay? So what I'm going to have to do is just paint over this and just make it like more texture in my vine, which is not a big deal, thankfully, because the more texture in a vine, the better. But this spot, yeah, I will have to fix that. And really, I'll probably just paint over it. It's not that big of a imperfection, and then I'll put sealer over it, and it'll be fine. So that's why that one's not shiny and this one is. The ceiling in the cab looks pretty cool, I think. Everybody voted to do patchwork like my doors. Now the doors are different fabrics and smaller strips. I thought since this was such a big spot, I would use some longer strips, and so that's what I did. I still need to put a top coat of gloss on there, but as it stands, if you can hear that, it's pretty stout right now. Now the sides of where you see all that spray foam, it's going to get covered in clay and just painted like vines. I mean, that works. And I've got to do something for this back wall. I hung this here temporarily because I like hearing it. Let's see if you can hear it. Hold on. I just find that sound to be so soothing. I don't know. But I got it hung over my head right now. I'll probably hang it somewhere different later on. But for now, while I'm driving, I can hear that as I go down the road, and it's very nice. I really wasn't sure about where to put my projector screen. And I'm not 100% sure this is going to work right. I might have to put a piece of wood through here instead of this plastic. But because right now it's curved, okay? And you can buy projectors that you can tilt the screen, you know, and it doesn't matter if your screen is a little curved. But mine is not like that. I bought a Temu projector. So we're going to try to make this work. It doesn't tilt. The Temu projector doesn't tilt. So I'm going to have to come up with something creative. And I don't have the top piece on there yet. You know, that little, it's right here. You can't really see it. But the bamboo piece to hide it, I haven't installed that yet because I'm not 100% certain on this. It would be nice if it was here or here, but it just didn't. I don't know. I didn't care for it over there. So it's here. But I mean, it's nice. I can lay back in here and watch TV. But I do have to find a way to mount this projector. And here are my thoughts. Sorry, I have to turn around. You know, like the TV wall mounts that are on an arm and it has, you know, it has an elbow so it bends. I'm thinking about mounting one back here so the projector can fold up, you know, or it can swing out. And yeah, the projector needs to be able to move all different kinds of ways depending on how I'm parked. Now, ideally, I'll be parked straight every time I park somewhere. But if you have ever done RV or van life, you know, sometimes that's just not the case. You just can't always get 100% straight. So you have to keep that in mind when you're building stuff, I guess. All right, so I just want to check in and let you know that my Oakmo battery and my Iceco fridge have been working fantastically. I don't technically live in the van yet, so basically I've just been keeping my drinks, my waters and stuff, and my snacks in my fridge so that when I work I don't have to leave the van. I can just stay right here and have my snacks. I have been using my solar for the fridge, for my fans, and for charging things. And it's, oh, hold on. Which way? Which way? It's all doing pretty good. My battery is staying charged. I mean, I only have 200 watts of solar, and I really have only ran the battery down to like 12.5. So, but always the next morning it's charged back up to like 13.3. So, and that's with it running everything. So, I mean, the 200 watts of solar are doing pretty good right now because I don't have heavy usage. But soon the van will be in a position to where, hang on. So, pretty soon the van is going to be in a position to where maybe it's not finished, but it is camping ready, okay? So, when I get to that point, mostly what I need is I need a mattress for the bed. I need to work on that. And when I get that, I can take this thing out and do a full test on a camping trip and report back and let y'all know how everything is going. Because now, really, the only major thing that I have left to do is to install my toilet. I need to build a toilet box. Oh, and I need to make the sink. I did buy all of the stuff for the sink build. So hopefully by the next video, I will have the toilet box built and installed, and I will have the sink. So once I get those two items completed and I get a mattress for the bed, then we can go on a camping trip in this thing. You know, everything else is just decorative, painting and whatnot. So soon, guys, we'll take this thing out in the wild and see how she works. I'm excited. I'm so very excited. I feel like I'm forgetting something. So the clay work, I've showed you that. The ceiling is completely, well, not completely finished. I probably need to bring this over here. Not completely finished. I still need to paint some clouds. But I decided to do my branches first and then paint my clouds. So that way, the places that you can't see, I don't waste paint and time and energy painting clouds there. You know, there's no sense. Because this is going to, when I get the sides on, it's going to cover up some. So I'm just waiting on the clouds. That's not a huge chore to do. What else am I forgetting? I think we talked about everything. Yeah. That's it. I guess that's it. It is literally so hot, and I'm sweating so much that my glasses just keep sliding down my nose. I'm a librarian. I guess that's it, guys. I'm gonna stop babbling now. If you've made it this far, thank you. I appreciate it. And let me get out of the camera. Oh, that's better. You don't need to see all my pores. But so sweaty. I need one of those portable ACs for the van. You know, I've seen a lot of reviews on them, but gosh, they're like the cheapest one I've seen was like $500, and I just don't see me paying $500. Maybe one of them will sponsor me and send me one. Everybody, write it in the comments. Send her a portable van life AC. That would be fabulous. The heat didn't used to bother me so much. I guess as I'm getting older, I don't know. I don't know. But here I'm babbling again. That's it. Thank you guys for watching. And thank you so much for always being here and for all of the wonderful comments that you leave me. And I hope you guys have a great week. I will see you next Sunday. Ciao. What was that? Ciao. Who says ciao?